I'm back. I don't know if you even really missed me. You probably didn't know it. I don't know, I get that a lot, but it's Dawn. I'm one of the original team members here at Luxury Jones Enterprises. I took a break for some spiritual work, and now I'm back to regular work. And I mean, let's be honest, you know, the ship was sort of lost at sea for a while over here. But that's the thing about us, you know, it's an unconditional sisterhood, in so much as like, you know, we just let everybody just be who they are and like still love them when they come back. I mean, I know it's a, you know, it's kind of novel, I guess, I would say, in this day and age to just love people for who they are and not want them to do a whole bunch of like changing just to be more easy to deal with, you know, and all that. But yeah, here it's really different. It's a real sisterhood of, you know, it's unspoken too. You know, we can talk about it, and we do whenever we feel like it, but we don't have to, you know, and there's a difference. Sometimes you could just let it ride, you know, and just be like, this is one of those times we just let it ride, you know. It's like you're having a feeling, I'm of a feeling, and it's like by talking about it, like, let's be honest, we're not getting anywhere. We're all just like going in circles, and it's about action sometimes, you know, instead of just like the talking, the incessant talking about it, which I think the world is having a talk about it, like, moment, in my opinion. That's what's happening. I mean, who am I, right, to say that? But that's what I feel like. It's like a lot of, let's talk about our beliefs and our things and our this and our that, and like, let's, you know, not, you know, we'll get around to practicing it. You know, we'll get around to practicing it when it's like a march or demonstration or something, you know, but like, what about just like every day, like with the people you love and stuff, you know? I am not in any way, you know, preaching. Please, I really hope that you don't hear it like that. Just, you know, Dawn went away and had a spiritual fucking awakening, and now look at her, you know? It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's like this. It's like, I just believe that we could all be better friends to each other now. You know, I just think that. I think that everyone's busy, and we hear that word a lot. And though it may be true, I have found out, and you know, that it doesn't, it hasn't gotten any less busy. You know, ever since I first, you know, any of us started saying that, nothing's gotten less busy for anyone I know. In fact, quite the opposite. And then again, I also have this really firm belief that people do what they want to do, period. 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 You don't have the money, you don't have the, if you really want to do something, you will do it. Good, bad, or ugly, you know, really, good, bad, or ugly. Because honestly, you know, there are excuses otherwise, you know, and I think we get used to lying to ourselves a little bit. And this is the other beautiful part. That's also never gonna change, even if you have a spiritual awakening, okay? You're gonna remember it, and then you're gonna forget it. You're gonna remember it, you're gonna forget it. All through, that's it, forever. Even into next lifetime, okay? It's not just this lifetime. It's the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And that's the thing. It's like, if you're human, maybe if you're a dog, it's different. But not really, probably, honestly, because dogs, like, well. In any case, you get my drift, you know, as my dad would say, right? Isn't that a dad thing to say? Sorry, I'm fucking with the lighting. It's just, you know, would it be me if I didn't? I mean, I just wouldn't be, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable if I didn't have a thing to fuss with. I just wouldn't like it. But yeah, you know, we're all fucked up, and we're all getting better, and then we're all fucked up, and we're all getting better. And no one is, you know, infallible too, which I think is so interesting. It's like, you know, these constructs we've got in our minds of like, oh, this person's like a yogi or a guru, or they did this thing, then they are somehow, they don't ever make mistakes. Or if they do, they're like better, higher up mistakes than the ones I'm making. And that's not true. And it's unfair to hold any human being to these kinds of standards, you know? It's what causes things like Jimmy Swaggart and, you know, not the child molesting priest. It doesn't cause that. But, you know, it causes hypocrisy and guilt and shame. And I just don't like that atmosphere. I really like the atmosphere of where everybody feels like they're okay just as they are, and that people still like them just as they are, you know, but that you gotta be open sometimes to hearing when you're being a pain in the ass and somebody needs to let you know, but they need to let you know with love, okay? There's a huge difference, you know, when I care for someone, and it's not just that behavior, maybe it is just a behavior that's irritating and affecting me. Maybe it affects no one else, you know, but I need to find a way within myself with love and compassion to express my feelings and not to play a victim, because it's too hard to just be mad. So sometimes it's easier to be like, oh, it hurt my feelings, and maybe it did, but it can just be, you know, and it's like, I've noticed too, we don't have those kinds of moments unless we're already in the heat of passionate arguing, you know, and then you throw accusations and well, this and that. No one ever just brings things up at a neutral time, you know, and if they do, still people get defensive. It's nature, it's human nature. But I think we've just got to be better to each other, you know. Just plain help each other. That's really, I've been on a journey during these last several years, which have been quite a trip. And a part of that trip, a giant learning curriculum, was the art of asking for help. And help, just what is help? What does help mean? You know, when you need it, how do you ask for it? Who do you ask for it? Do you get it? How do you get it? What do you do with it if you get it? What do you do if you don't get it? And there's just a lot there. And I hate the term unpacking, so I'm not going to say that, okay? We're not going to unpack that, okay? I'm going to talk about it is what I'm going to do. But I've just been surprised on this journey of what I found in regards to help, you know? Professional, you know, business, therapeutic, just plain friends, parental units, mentors, gurus, I mean, guidance, help, you know, help accomplishing a specific task. You know, you hire movers when you need to move, they move. Sometimes it's not so cut and dry, you know. You don't know how to tell someone to help you, and even if you give it your best shot, maybe it's falling on the wrong ears, and then maybe on the 10th time you're telling the 10th person, you know, it takes a lot out of you, you know, to persevere. And I've learned a lot that it's unfortunate, and I'm surprised, but you know, a lot of people don't really listen, you know, they're not really capable of it, and it's not a judgment or a condemnation of any kind. It's truly not. It's just something I've noticed in this course of, particularly this last year has been the year of help and the year of talking a lot more than usual, and just talking to people, asking questions, and just getting to the goddamn bottom of everything, you know. But even people I thought I knew, you know, the whole, we have a short attention span, TikTok moment, you know, whatever. It's like, okay, sure, yeah, okay. I believe it, you know, I believe it. Our culture has contributed to this horrible attention span issue, but I also believe if you're interested, you'll focus, or you're just very shallow, and that again is just maybe who you are. I don't think anyone is supposed to be one way. It can be disappointing to find out that someone is maybe not what you thought or hoped or expected, but I don't think it's wrong. It's different. Doesn't make any of it easier knowing it, but I think it feels very good to accept people for who they are, where they are. I like being people's champion, but I've also learned this year that sometimes I think I champion so much that perhaps those I champion feel maybe that they don't need to continue to progress on, self-realization and work, or they think they're as great as I say they are, which is true, they are. But there's something about my formula that doesn't work. And I don't really have a specific expectation other than, like, I love to adore. I adore it. It is a practice. It is bhakti moment. It is what I feel truly my heart wants to do. But I've noticed a few times that I've been taken for granted, and to my shock, because I didn't even think I needed to be not taken for granted. But then it was almost like, oh, well, you just took all those things I said and you took them to mean that's who you are, and you just go over there and you don't need your cheerleader anymore, or whatever, this person who thinks you're so great. And then I was, like, oh wow, that's not what I expected would happen when I allowed myself to love you as much as I wanted to, And I also think this is funny because I've always been this way, I'm a fangirl. I'm a number one fangirl. I've written fan letters and, messages and to people's faces, and, if I like you, I'm telling you, you're gonna hear about it. And, I mean, really, to a very intense degree. But I sometimes think, I've noticed in my observations during this year of study, that I think some of the people I do this to think maybe they're the only one, and that I like. I like that somehow. Yeah, that's come across to them, because they are. You are the only one. I adore you, and I think you're fabulous, and I love all your mistakes, and I love your adult acne, and I love your new, Rubenesque moment of middle life, and I love your entitledness of youth and your hope, and I love your frailty and your inability to focus on others. I love that you can keep it shallow and fun, and you don't have to get bogged down in the mire of it all. This is experimental living, okay? What we do now is called experimental living. Once you know, you can't go back, you know. And you can either become a nihilist entirely, which is in there. Once you know, you know. You can't not know anymore. But the deal is this. You're only allowed to breathe the fire dragon breath of doom, the truth that you know, your feelings, the pain, the suffering. You're only allowed to express that to a certain select few. Others like yourself who are on the same trip and understand and can handle it. And you still should ask if they're available for it at the time. Because sometimes you do have to talk about the really bad things. It gets very dark, But the other part of the deal is you can't be a drag to regular humanity all the time. You can't go around being Nietzsche and being, masters and servants and all these things. You can't, even if a lot of it is true, even if the ugliness is absolutely the truth to a degree sometimes. I'm not talking about racism. I'm not talking about Nazis. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about roles in life, I say this when I work the sewing job sometimes, I love a diva, a Nicki Minaj. I've never worked with Beyonce personally, but Nicki Minaj is a bitch, and I love it, And this other, Brazilian pop star I worked with a while ago, I loved this. She's a pop star, for the love of God. It's what she's supposed to be doing with her life, and she's, listening to her music and talking and playing her song and doing all these things while, just letting other people undress her and take off her bracelets, and we're not even there. And her friends come in and she's hugging them, and I've got a sewing needle in her, corset or whatever, and I love it. You are fulfilling your role and I am fulfilling mine. And I'm happy to be there and to be here and that you're there. I don't envy that. I like those people's roles. Some people are strong, some people are good money makers. And I think that those people should contribute to some people whose powers are better suited for other things. You know, I'm not a lazy person. I have worked very hard in my life. At the moment, I feel very drawn to the humanities and other things. And it's very hard for me to focus on making money, and yet my bills must be paid. I've never been a truly extravagant person, although when I do have money, I am quite generous and I love it. It's a dream. It's a dream to give away money. I love it. However, we're talking just basics now. And I think if you're a really good moneymaker and it's very easy for you, I do think you should share to whoever you feel at your heart you would like to share with, Yes, to support the arts. Yes, to support healing and love and other beautiful creatures in the world that, whatever. Unfortunately, money always comes with strings, with a lot of people, and doesn't have to. It really doesn't have to, but it does a lot of times. And I just think I really like unconditional love and acceptance and learning more and understanding more. And, I love it. I love it. I hate, that everything happens for a reason. It's not really a reason, it's not, it's a choice to glean a teaching from it, and sometimes I don't want that teaching. Fuck you teaching, fuck that, I don't think that dogs should die sooner than humans. I don't think that they should. I think that they should be equal and that they should have the same health. I don't want a dog to live to be 40 and then be unhealthy, but like, why? But I don't ask why. Don't ask why. That's another rule of experimental living. There is no answer to why. There are very, very few answers to any whys in this world. Don't ask. In any case, we're here for you. To talk, to listen, to actually listen. I like to listen. I want to know. I have made some very far away friends in this last year, over the telephone, on the other end of a 1-800 number, on the other end of a Fiverr, people around the world. It's like I'm back to my good old days of being a pen pal. I've got connections, human ones, and I like it. And you're invited to come join the experiment if you like. This has been a 20-minute conversation with Dawn, one of the most valuable players of this beautiful spaceship in that other dimension we call Luxury Jones Enterprises. Just for fun, baby.